My mother's voice cut through the lobby like broken glass. "Get out. You're banned from this property." She said it loud enough for every guest to hear. My father stood behind her, arms crossed. That same disgusted look from 5 years ago. The security guard reached for my arm. I let him. Because what they didn't know was that 3 hours earlier, I'd signed the papers. The hotel they were so proud of, the one they chose over me, I owned it now. Actually, I owned all 47 hotels in the chain. And in exactly 10 minutes, they were about to find out. My name is Jade Chen. And before you think this is some billionaire flex story, let me tell you what really happened. Because the money? That was never the point. The point was the moment my mother looked me dead in the eye and didn't recognize her own daughter. Growing up, I was the invisible child. My brother Michael? Harvard Medical School. Engaged to a senator's daughter. The son who could do no wrong. Me? I was the art school dropout who wasted her potential. My parents owned the Rosewood Hotel in downtown Portland. 3 stars. 42 rooms. Their entire world. Every morning, my mother would polish that brass nameplate by the entrance like it was the crown jewels. Chin Family Hospitality since 1987. I worked there every summer since I was 12. Folding towels. Answering phones. Memorizing every guest's breakfast order. I thought it meant something. That maybe one day, they'd see me as more than the disappointment who couldn't be Michael. Then came the night that changed everything. December 15th. 5 years ago. I was 21. I'd been working on something. An app. Something that could revolutionize how small hotels handle bookings and cancellations. I taught myself to code. Stayed up for 3 straight days perfecting the algorithm. I was so excited. So naive. I burst into their office during their nightly accounting session. "Mom, Dad, I need to show you something." "Not now, Jade." My father didn't even look up. "But this could help the hotel." My mother's laugh was cold. "Help? You dropped out of business school. You live in our basement. You want to help? Get a real job." This is real. Just look at it. 5 minutes. She stood up. Slowly. That's when I knew I'd crossed some invisible line. You know what your problem is? You think you're special. You're not. You're a failure living off our charity. The word hung in the air. Failure. "If you hate it here so much," I whispered, "I'll leave." My father finally looked up. "Good. And don't come back until you've grown up." I waited for one of them to take it back. To say they didn't mean it. They went back to their spreadsheets. I packed everything I owned into 2 garbage bags. My laptop. Some clothes. A photo of us from when I was 7. Back when they still smiled at me. I left that photo on my bed. You want to know what rock bottom looks like? It's showering at Planet Fitness with a guest pass you can't afford to convert. It's sleeping in Walmart parking lots and moving every 2 hours so security doesn't call the cops. It's eating 1 meal a day dollar menu and telling yourself you're intermittent fasting. But the worst part? It's driving past your parents' hotel at 2 a.m. and seeing your old room's light on. They'd already converted it to storage. 3 weeks. That's how long it took them to erase me. I survived on rage and ramen for 6 months. Coded 16 hours a day in coffee shops, buying 1 small coffee and nursing it until they kicked me out. My app, Guest Genius. It became my obsession. Every line of code was a middle finger to their charity. Then something incredible happened. A tech investor named David Kim found my beta version online. He called me at 3 a.m. "This algorithm is insane. Do you know what this could do for the hospitality industry?" I played it cool. Meanwhile, I was literally sitting in my car in a McDonald's parking lot, stealing their Wi-Fi. I know exactly what it can do. Here's what nobody tells you about revenge. It's not a dish best served cold. It's a dish best served when they don't even know they're eating it. David didn't just invest. He introduced me to people. Real players. Hotel chains struggling with occupancy optimization. Boutique properties hemorrhaging money on last-minute cancellations. My algorithms solved problems they didn't even know they had. Within 18 months, I sold Guest Genius for $3.2 million. But I was just getting started. Because while my parents were still checking guests in one at a time, I was learning how to buy entire hotels without them ever knowing my name. I formed a company. Cascade Hospitality Holdings. Boring name. Invisible name. Perfect name. My CFO was a former Wall Street shark named Rebecca. She taught me how to hide in plain sight. Shell companies. Subsidiary acquisitions. Paper trails that led nowhere. We started small. Distressed properties in secondary markets. Hotels like my parents', family-run, undercapitalized, 1 bad season from bankruptcy. I'd buy them quietly. Implement my systems. Triple their revenue in 6 months. By year 3, we owned 22 properties. By year 4, 38. And then Rebecca found something interesting. There's a regional chain. Pacific Northwest. 47 properties. The parent company is looking to divest. What's it called? Cascade Lodge Collection. My heart stopped. I knew that name. My parents' hotel was part of that chain. They joined it 5 years ago for the brand recognition. They were so proud when they got accepted. How much? $68 million. But here's the thing. Most of the property owners don't know it's for sale. The parent company is keeping it quiet to avoid panic. I smiled. The first real smile in years. Buy it. I waited 3 months after the acquisition closed. Let the paperwork settle. Let the previous management transition out. Let my parents continue their little kingdom, blissfully unaware that their corporate overlords had changed. Then I decided to visit. Not as Jade Chen, the failure daughter. As Jade Chen, a travel blogger reviewing boutique hotels. I'd changed enough. Lost weight from the stress years. Cut my hair short. Dressed like the tech money I'd become. Designer athleisure, subtle wealth. Plus, they hadn't seen me in 5 years. To them, I was dead. I walked into the Rosewood at 2 p.m. on a Thursday. The smell hit me first. That mix of old carpet and vanilla air freshener. Nothing had changed. Same faded wallpaper. Same crooked painting behind the desk. My mother was training a new receptionist. I could hear her from the entrance. No exceptions on the late checkout policy. These people will take advantage if you let them. These people. I approached the desk. Professional smile. Neutral voice. Checking in. Jay Chin. My mother looked up. Her eyes passed over me like I was furniture. ID and credit card. I handed them over. Watched her type. Watched her not recognize her daughter's face. Room 237. Elevators to your right. Actually, I had requested a room with a view. Her smile tightened. That fake customer service smile I'd seen 1,000 times. Those are for our premium guests. You book through a third-party site. Premium guests. I was her daughter. And I didn't qualify as premium. I understand. Thank you. I took the key. Turned to leave. That's when my father emerged from the back office. Older. Grayer. Same disappointed expression permanently etched on his face. He glanced at me. Paused. For 1 second, I thought. Make sure you don't loiter in the lobby, he said to me. It's for guests only. I held up my key card. I am a guest. He snorted. Right. Enjoy your stay. The way he said it. Like I was beneath even basic courtesy. That's when I decided. They weren't going to get a quick reveal. A dramatic confrontation. They were going to get something worse. The truth. Slowly. Painfully. Publicly. I spent 2 days watching them. Listening to them berate staff. Watching them overcharge elderly guests for damage that didn't exist. Seeing them refuse service to a family because their kids were too loud. But the worst part was dinner at their restaurant. I sat alone at the bar. Ordered their signature dish, the one my mom created and was so proud of. She walked past my table 3 times. Not once did she look at me. Really look. I heard her complaining to the bartender. These budget travelers. They come here expecting 5-star service on a 2-star budget. The bartender, a kid, maybe 19, nodded uncomfortably. Did you know we had a daughter? She continued after her second wine. Ungrateful little thing. Thought she was too good for the family business. Ran off to play with computers. Probably living in some studio apartment, pretending to be important. The bartender mumbled something sympathetic. We gave her everything. Everything. And she threw it in our faces. I sat there, 3 feet away, while my mother rewrote history. That's when I made my decision. Here's the real twist. I could have destroyed them quietly. A corporate email. A termination letter. Clean and simple. But that wouldn't teach them anything. So instead, I scheduled a property inspection. As the new owner, I sent the email from my corporate account. Cascade Hospitality Holdings CEO would be conducting a routine inspection in 48 hours. The panic was immediate. I watched from the lobby as my parents scrambled. Deep cleaning. Staff meetings. My father actually smiled at a guest for the first time in probably years. Big corporate visit. My mother told anyone who'd listen. The CEO himself. This could mean expansion opportunities for us. The morning of the inspection, I checked out, then checked back in. As myself. I wore the suit. The one that cost more than they made in a month. Hair pulled back. Full CEO mode. My assistant, Yes, I brought back up, walked in first. The CEO will be here momentarily. My parents stood at attention. Staff lined up like soldiers. I walked in. The slow-motion moment of recognition was worth every night I'd slept in my car. My mother's face went white, then red, then white again. My father's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Hello, Mom. Dad. Silence. I believe you're expecting me? I'm here for the inspection. Jade. My mother's voice cracked. What are you? How are you? It's Miss Chin during business hours. Shall we begin the tour? What would you do? If the people who threw you away were suddenly at your mercy, would you forgive? Or would you do what I did next? This is a mistake. My father finally found his voice. You can't be the owner? Check your corporate emails. It's all there. I pulled out my tablet. Started walking through their lobby. Making notes. Worn carpet. 3 broken tiles by the entrance. That painting has been crooked for, 15 years now. My mother followed, stumbling in her heels. Jade, sweetie, we didn't know. You didn't know what? That I was homeless? That I slept in parking lots? Or that I was worth more than your charity? I stopped at the front desk. Ran my finger along the surface. Dusty. Is this the standard you maintain? The new receptionist looked terrified. It's not her fault, I said. She's following leadership examples. My father stepped forward. That authoritative stance I used to cower from. Now listen here. No. You listen. I turned to face them both. Really looked at them. These people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. 5 years ago, you told me I was a failure. That I was nothing without your charity. You threw me out like garbage. You left, my mother protested. You chose to leave. Because you gave me no choice. And you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I pulled out a folder. Placed it on their precious front desk. Inside, you'll find your performance reviews for the last 3 years. Consistently below chain average. Guest complaints up 40%. Staff turnover at an all-time high. They stared at the folder like it was a bomb. But here's the thing. I'm not going to fire you. Hope flickered in their eyes. You're going to report to the new general manager. Someone who actually knows how to treat people with respect. I gestured to the door. The 19-year-old bartender walked in. The one my mother had complained to about me. You're promoting him? My father's voice was strangled. Marcus has been here 6 months and has better guest ratings than either of you have had in 5 years. He starts Monday. You can't. I can. I do. It's done. My mother started crying. Not the pretty tears of someone who's sorry. The ugly tears of someone who's been caught. We're your parents. No. Parents don't abandon their children for thinking differently. Parents don't erase their kids because they don't fit the plan. I turned to leave. Stopped at the door. Oh, and that app you wouldn't look at? The one that was going to waste my potential? It's the system your hotel runs on now. The one that's kept you from bankruptcy. Jade, please. You'll keep your jobs. Your salaries. Your health insurance. Because unlike you, I don't throw people away. I walked to the door. But you'll clock in every day knowing that the failure you kicked out, she signs your paychecks. She owns your legacy. And she succeeded not because of you, but in spite of you. The last thing I heard was my mother sobbing. The last thing I saw was my father's face, finally understanding what he'd lost. That was 6 months ago. They still work there. Under Marcus. Who, by the way, has increased revenue by 20%. They've tried calling. Emailing. Even showed up at my corporate office once. Security turned them away. They don't have an appointment. My brother Michael reached out. Wanted to mediate. Funny how he never called when I was homeless. They're destroyed, Jade. They cry every night. Good. Maybe they'll develop some empathy. This isn't you. You're right. The old me would have forgiven them. The old me would have needed their love. This me? This me knows that family isn't blood. It's choice. And they made theirs. Here's what I learned. Success isn't the best revenge. Indifference is. They wanted me to fail so they could be right about me. Instead, I succeeded so thoroughly that my existence rewrites their entire narrative. Every morning, they wake up in the house I could buy 100 times over. Drive to the hotel I own. Serve guests under policies I created. And every night, they go to sleep knowing that their disappointment daughter didn't just prove them wrong. She proved them irrelevant. I don't hate them anymore. Hate requires energy I'd rather spend on people who matter. I've paid for therapy. Processing the abandonment. The trauma of being unloved by the people who were supposed to love you most. Some days are harder than others. But every day I wake up knowing this. I am not what they said I was. I am what I chose to become. And that's the only validation I need. More stories like this? Hit subscribe. If this blew your mind, the next one's worse. Check the pinned comment.